All right, so these just came in today. The Nano 13 Fronings. So I had actually ordered these a couple weeks back from Foot Locker, and they ended up being too small. It was the wheat colorway, and that's of all the colorways for the Fronings, that's my favorite one. So I had to send them back. I thought I was getting an exchange, and they denied the exchange. They said, oh, we don't have any more of these left in stock, which is probably BS. And they're probably just waiting for the actual street date for the shoes, which is supposed to be August 18th. Right now it's the 11th. These just got unembargoed, I guess. So we can finally talk about them now. So as you can see, we are back to the slip-on booty design that was first coined on the Nano 11 Froning, the Nano 12 Froning. We can erase from our memories because it was a pile of poop. And I'm glad that we're back to this and we have the strap again. Almost every, well, the RF1 and the Nano 11 Froning had a strap. The original Competes did not have a strap, and then last year's didn't have a strap. And the strap is important because it's, the reason for the strap is because Froning doesn't like to, or he, I mean, this is from what I've heard, he doesn't like to tie his shoes. And like if you watch old videos of Froning, he just slips on his shoes. He doesn't really tie them, and he just kind of wears them loose. And that is the reason for having the strap there and having this kind of lacing system. It's so that you can just slip your foot in there and go. So yeah, that's the biggest, I guess, change from the last model is that we have the booty design. But man, the whole uppers, it's obviously it's the Nano 13 now, but this upper is way different. We have like a new kind of like wavy textured microfiber, micro suede that's on the vamp part of the shoe. And it looks like it wouldn't be too breathable, but I've been wearing these shoes around and it hasn't really been bothering my feet at all. And then on top of that, there's where the vector is. And I'm not so sure this is real leather. It might be real leather, and might be, you know, fake leather or synthetic leather, but it's this white piece right here. And then on top of that, there's like a TPU piece there. And this is kind of like the reverse original Nano 11 Froning colorway, which I think is kind of cool. On the sides of the toe box and the vamp, there are these overlays that have like this like cross hatch pattern, which also kind of throws it back to the Nano 11 Froning, which also, again, I do like. That's kind of a cool little touch there. And then, of course, we have the drawstring pull tab. Because these are like laceless shoes, they just have this drawstring that you pull and then you tighten, and then you secure it under, boom, 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 the elastic strap right there. On the little tongue piece, it says RF X3. And then there's all these little cool like details around, like there's the Galatian 614 on one side of the like ankle collar, and it's like a little pod for cushion. And then on the other side it says faith, family, and fitness, and that's in the neon cherry. This is the black and neon cherry colorway, so the details in neon cherry. See, the insole is probably the same thing as the standard. Yeah, it's a normal Nano 13 insole. It says, designed in Boston, validated in Cookeville, Froning Nano 13. It usually says, you know, the design in Boston, validated in Cookeville thing. Let's put this back in here. So since this is based off the Nano 13 platform, it is still going to be that 7mm drop. You still have the lift and run chassis, obviously. You can see it. And then you have the Float Ride Energy Foam midsole. And of course we have the carrier foam on the outside. We have the Float Ride on the inside. We have the same outsole, Rope Pro, and then same exact traction pattern. And then it's got this like patch of neon cherry, which is great. That's like one of my favorite colors that Reebok has ever come out with. And then at the back part, we do have a little pull tab. And so this has the Float Ride foam in it. What I'm noticing from the heel on this, very similar to the Nano Classic and the Nano 13 Adventures, is that this one feels a little bit softer than the just normal Nano 13. And whether or not that's a good thing, I mean, it just kind of depends on what you're using it for. I would wager that Froning probably wanted them a little bit more softer and more flexible, and that's the reason why. It's not like a world of difference. Like the Nano Adventure is probably the softest one out of all of them. This one probably resembles the Nano Classic a little bit more. But like if you go through all of them, it's not a world of difference besides the Adventure. And yeah, that's pretty much it with the upper of the shoe. There's a lot of the use of texture on this shoe, on the upper. So I don't want to say it's a lot going on, but it's kind of, you know, there's a lot going on. One thing that's also good about these shoes is that they probably weigh less than your standard 13, because I got a size 10.5 and they weigh 13.2 ounces, or it was like 370 something grams. And that's the same as a size 10 Nano 13, just normal Nano 13. Now the problem there is that you have to get a size up, because these do run quite a bit smaller, and they are a little bit more narrow. I'm not gonna lie there. I'm hoping they break in a little bit more so that like narrowness goes away. I've almost kind of gotten used to it, but I'm wearing really thin socks that just try to break these shoes in. It's considerably more narrow in the toe box, and then you do feel the medial part of the lift and run chassis against the inside of your foot. So, I mean, it's real early, and I don't want to say like they're super duper narrow and you can't use them, and wide feet, you know, have no shot at these shoes. So I'm hoping that today's session at least breaks them in. So we're going to be power cleaning to 95%. Pretty heavy power clean for me. I'm not super good at power cleans, so we'll see what I can squeak out today. And then we've got a chipper that's got a little bit of everything, which should be a pretty good test for these shoes. You've got a walking lunge, pull-ups, lots of pull-ups, GHD sit-ups, thrusters, and then more pull-ups and bar muscle-ups. So let's get that thing rolling. Feels pretty comfortable. Like the platform I'm used to, the fit I'm not so used to, because obviously it's the slip-on, and I haven't tightened them up, so they're pretty loose around my ankle right now. So if I sound like shit, it's because for some reason I'm just like a little under the weather right now. I started feeling it coming on somewhere around like Wednesday this week, and I thought it would go away. But I like felt like I was gonna go away yesterday, and then today it hit me a lot harder. The grip on these shoes is really good. Coming from using like the Metcon 9s all the time, like you notice the immediate enhancement in grip with these shoes. The good thing is that the shoes are opening up already. I still think you're gonna have to go half size up though. This bar is already feeling pretty heavy. And that from the back. At least I don't really have to get used to too much, because these shoes, I mean, at the end of the day, they're gonna be Nano 13s. I've been using Nano 13s a lot. Like probably my most used shoe this year. Sign these up. You know, like you're never gonna get away from like the loose fit around the ankle, but like the heel slip is not actually that bad. It just doesn't feel like your foot is like stuck inside the shoe at your heel. All I need is a little bit. Okay, here's the first working set. Get some chalk. Push and coast. So, I mean, lifting, like the platform feels so familiar, that I'm able to just get into it and go. The toe on this feels more flexible than the normal Nano 13. And it's probably because like the upper, it's just more seamless. So I'm assuming that is by design. Like the shoe feels more flexible, a little bit more soft than a normal Nano 13. Nothing lasts forever, but we always pray. The first melody on the way. Butter. Nano 13s. Freaking awesome. These definitely don't feel like they're heavy. Even though I generally consider like 13 ounces or so for me, for what I'm wearing, to be a heavy-ish shoe. You get close to 14 and that's a heavy shoe, but around like the 13s is generally acceptable. These do not feel like they're like that heavy. They feel pretty light. It's probably because they're flexible. The cushion, like you can definitely feel that the heel flexes more than the standard Nano 13 for sure. But I don't think it's that big a deal. Last one I just didn't want to get under, but the first two felt great. And these shorts are pretty good. I don't even know the model. They gave them to me last year at the games, and they're like light, airy. I wish they would had a shorter inseam, but super comfortable. Reebok's clothing gets shit on a lot, but it's pretty underrated for like what you're getting. The value's usually pretty good. Just gotta get that right elbow under. And escalate. Say you like a girl. All right, 3 more singles. A lot better. Hold up. I feel like pros is like the worst thing that they could have put in there instead of pose. Got under that pretty good. Like midline wasn't ready for it. Okay, last one. Okay, that was probably a squat. Okay, so that last one was definitely a squat. I don't think I'm gonna redo it. Just I feel I'm okay with leaving it at that. Power cleans actually felt pretty good today, which is surprising. Like I don't feel like 100% right now, so knowing that I'm able to hit a 260 power squat, it makes me feel better. But right now we gotta get going on this workout because I'm running out of time. I gotta get this thing moving. Let's use a shorty bar. Okay, I don't really have time to fuck around. I gotta go. The loose ankles, not so good for doing lunges. I would say this is the last one. I guess.